Hey, what's up guys, Mashine here, come back with a brand new video for you guys. Today we're going to be talking about the best times to sell your CSGO items. Now, selling your CSGO items is almost as important as buying in at the right time. We're going to be going over when I feel like you should definitely be looking to sell, along with some other meaningful tips and tricks along with selling your CSGO items. Before we hop on into that one though, let's hear a quick word from our sponsor.
Hello buddy, are you tired of your ugly skins? Nothing lost, don't skip the ad. Open skinsmonkey.com, trade your CSGO skins and receive up to $5 bonus for free. What are you waiting for? Don't be a loser and trade on Skins Monkey. Psst, there is also a 25% deposit bonus.
Before we talk about the best times to sell, we gotta be talking about selling itself. Now, selling your CSGO skins has got a couple ways you can go around it. For me, I'm probably going to be selling on Steam most of the time. It's just the convenience factor of being able to sell your items, knowing there's a buyer for you as long as you've got a pretty decent price. And overall, it's gonna make investing into a new item a lot easier. You're not gonna have to worry about trade holds and getting your items out of sites or anything like that. If you're selling one investment to go into a different investment, this might be the best way for you to go around it. Otherwise, there's definitely a lot of sites out there where you can go ahead and sell your items for real cash, and therefore you can kind of consider if you want to buy again in real cash or if you want to just take that money out. Now, talking about selling items itself, continuing on that, it's very important that you're selling for the right price. If you've got an item that is at least somewhat liquid, you should not be selling it at the current market price at that second. Unless you truly need the funds, you should never be selling to a buy order. Right here is the glove case. It's going to be quite outdated by the time you see this. However, it's going to prove my point very well. You can see that the price point of it is around $225 for a buy order or $226 to actively list an item. The thing about this is we're not going to be selling at either of those prices. We should really be looking towards the $2.30 range. Now, if you want to go $227 or $228 here, that's up to you. However, we're going to look at our graph and we're going to look at the weekly graph here. One big thing is the day and night cycles are going to play major impacts in this. If you list your item before you go to bed, you're going to have a much better chance of it selling at that higher price point. When you rely on the day and night cycle, you're probably going to end up with a little bit more profit. Looking at this graph here, we can see there's about a peak every single day, though this is coming at around midnight in the United States. This could be because there's a lot less people listing items on the market here in the continental US. Therefore, there's going to be a lot less new listings on the market, and we're going to be getting into those listings that are a little bit more expensive, but people are still going to buy them. Coming from a buyer's perspective, a couple cents really isn't going to make that big of a difference if they're planning to open up the case, which the majority of these sales are probably going towards if you've got one of these cheaper-ish cases. Now, this is obviously very situational. If you've got a case like the Prisma case that's sitting at 9 cents or whatever, it's not going to be very easy to sell it at that 10 cent or 11 cent mark. So you got to definitely play into the strengths of whatever case you're doing. However, if you've got a case that's a little bit more expensive, I definitely recommend doing this strategy to get yourself a couple extra percentage points of profit or money back. Now, when you look to sell your CSGO skins as a whole, we're looking at time periods. Now, it's very important you pick out when you want to reinvest or if you're pulling the money out. We're going to be talking mostly about reinvesting here because that's what I imagine the majority of people are looking to do. If you're looking to reinvest, it's very important to look at the time period you want to do so. If you want to reinvest for your funds into the next major, it's going to have a different time than if you want to reinvest your funds for the next CSGO operation. There's different time periods, and it's going to be very important to when you sell. This is also going to play a major role into what items you're selling. If you're selling Stockholm major items to invest into the next major, you're probably going to have to do this slightly before the normal time period, just because a lot of people are going to be selling off their Stockholm investments potentially if we're looking at those souvenir packages. So it's definitely going to be very situational as well, but we're going to go over generally the time periods you should be looking for in selling. Now, since I feel like most of the people looking to sell here are probably going to want to do so before the major, it's going to be very important that you get this date correct. On screen right now, you can see a very rough outline. I'm going to go ahead and explain everything here. First up in the top left, that is the current major. That is the Antwerp 2022 major dates that are set. Now you'll see I kind of makeshifted those bottom two into 2021 October and November. Those are not the actual day of the week, however we're primarily focused on the day because the day of the week really isn't that important in the grand scheme of things here. Now we're going to be focusing in on that 2021 area first. In red is the Stockholm major dates. Now this is very important because in the blue we have 3 examples we're going to go over. First up, we've got the breakout case. The breakout case, the best time to sell it was October 16th. Then we move to the glove case. It's very similar, October 17th, October 16th. Both of those interchangeably are going to be the best days to sell those items. This is very important because those are one of the most liquid cases out there. And while those items were best to sell on those dates, that doesn't mean every item is going to be best to sell on those dates. However, it's going to give us a very good insight into what days are probably going to be more beneficial to sell on. This right here is the breakout graph, and you can see how significantly the price declined in the following days after this, making it very important that you sell on those dates. You can see that the price goes from over $2.24 to under $2 very quickly and almost bottoms out at $1.80. That's a 40-cent swing, which is quite important, especially when we're talking about selling off and reinvesting. The glove case, we can see something very similar happening. You can see that the price definitely dipped down beforehand, but that was due to Operation Riptide, which is quite an interesting predicament that was thrown in here. However, we can still see that on October 16th, we were sitting at $1.60 in price point, whereas the price significantly fell off and bottomed out at $1.20. That is a 25% decrease in price, which is absolutely crazy to see, because that was pretty much equivalent to what Operation Riptide had on the case price, and this is a major people knew about in advance. Therefore, it's very important to sell your items on the correct date. Operation Riptide, which was completely unplanned for the community, had the same impact as the major items did going on sale, so it's very important that you choose your dates correctly to sell on. Finally then, we've got one smaller item here. It's the regular Spectrum case, Spectrum 1 here, and you can see there is a slight decrease. October 19th is the best date to sell. It's really not going to be too major on some items. Like we can see here, the Spectrum 1 case really was not very impacted in this situation because the case was in a very situational predicament. We saw the case before it, the Riptide case, just came out with brand new butterfly finishes, which were the gamma finishes. Therefore, we had butterfly emerald, which is something that really reduced the value of this case for some particular reason. I couldn't really figure it out myself. However, it's definitely quite interesting to see how some cases are impacted so significantly and we have other cases that really aren't impacted at all. Heading back to our sheet here though, we can see that in blue, the circles are when the best time to sell was for 2021. And when we head up to May here, we can see that my predicted times are going to be probably the best to sell around potentially May 1st, or even the end of April might be a better time. It's going to be very situational, as we've seen. There's not really one specific day, maybe 10 days out, that's going to be the best time to sell. However, it seems like, at least what I've noticed from these trends, is it's probably going to be to your advantage to sell a couple days early rather than a couple days late. Something like that is probably going to be the difference between selling 3 cents too early or selling maybe 7 cents too late. But that's really all I have for today, guys. I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.